Hi guys, it's Ray here from J4K. Hope you're fitting well. So a massive welcome to week 3 of the J4K 30-day challenge on how to get you bulletproof and super confident as a goalkeeper, or if you're a parent who's on this challenge, it will help you to help your goalkeeping child. So I say welcome to week 3. Now before I go into obviously what we're going to be speaking about next, just want to make sure that you are doing the exercises that we spoke about in week 1 and week 2. It's super important that you consistently do something every single day, even if it's just for 5 minutes. And that's unfortunately one of the main reasons why people don't succeed as a goalkeeper or in life, to be honest with you, is because they'll do something for 2 or 3 times and then just stop. You know, developing your confidence as a goalkeeper and becoming mentally strong as a goalkeeper, you need to do it on a daily basis. And like I've already explained in other videos, it's not hard work. It's not as if you've got to go for a run or you've got to go to the gym. You know, everything can be done in your mind. Obviously how to build your confidence, and obviously you've got to then put that into practice when you train and when you play, but it all starts in the mind, obviously. And this is what the 30-day challenge is all about, is getting you to work your mind. And don't forget, look, it's only 5 minutes every single day, so no excuses, okay? So as I go through this video, the 30-day challenge, again, I'm going to be speaking to goalkeepers and also obviously who want to develop their self-confidence and, as I say, to become bulletproof as a goalkeeper. And also going to be speaking to parents as well, so that obviously, you know, so I'll speak in a language to parents so you can help your goalkeeping child as well. So I might flit it back in between speaking to you as a goalkeeper and a parent, if that makes sense. Anyway, on to week 3, okay, and we're going to be talking about basically communication. We're going to be teaching you how to stand up for yourself as a goalkeeper, and it all starts with communication. And when I mean stand up for yourself, you don't have to do this nasty. You can do this in a professional way. Actually, sometimes as you get older as a goalkeeper, unfortunately, sometimes the players or the management or even the supporters watching on the line, they'll make it impossible for you to be not nasty, if that makes sense. But obviously, as you get older and you learn how to, you know, to protect yourself and stand up for yourself more, you know, it will become natural for yourself. As I say, as a goalkeeper, as a human being, I always try to say, look, try to be nice, try to be professional. But unfortunately, we're in a day and age now, well, let's just say, you know, some people are, you know, not nice people. And I say there's a time in our career as goalkeepers when we've got to be, just obviously to stand up for ourselves. We've got to say what we think. And obviously we've got to sometimes put people in their place and put them, obviously, you know, let them know what's really going on, if that makes sense. Anyway, so the first thing, before I explain about standing up for yourself, I want to speak about the art of communication, because it all starts from communicating. So standing up for yourself means you've got to talk. Now, a lot of people, again, rightly or wrongly, a lot of goalkeepers, are advised to talk as a goalkeeper, and that's right. You have got to talk as a goalkeeper because we see a different angle, we see a different picture of what our defenders and what our teammates see, and normally we can spot danger literally before our defenders obviously see what's happening. So again, there's so many reasons why we need to communicate as a goalkeeper. The first one, as I say, is obviously to tell our defenders, you know, and our teammates obviously where players are, obviously to see the danger. Because obviously if we can tell our defenders, you know, where the danger is, our job as a goalkeeper, if we can get the defender to stop the danger, you know, 20 yards outside of our area, it stops us making a save. And again, a lot of people don't see this watching, but even just a quick communication from a goalkeeper can actually, even if it's 20, 30, 40, 50 yards away from the goal, can actually prevent a goal. You know, again, that's just another thankless task us goalkeepers have got to go through. So obviously, as to communicate, we've got to communicate to tell our teammates, obviously, you know, commands, etc. The second reason as well that we need to communicate as well is, and more importantly, is to keep ourselves on our toes as goalkeepers, and to commit and to keep our concentration going. And again, you've probably heard it many times, you know, where a goalkeeper, you know, they say the best goalkeepers in the world will do nothing for 89 minutes, and then they pull off an amazing save in the last minute, obviously to help their team, you know, with a win. And that's all to do with concentration. concentration also comes with communication as well. So when we communicate to our players, but also more importantly, to be honest with you guys, helping ourselves. We're keeping ourselves in the game. We're keeping ourselves, we're keeping our confidence, and we're also keeping our concentration on the game. So again, but this is the only problem with a lot of goalkeepers is that they are told to communicate, which is the right thing to do. But a lot of goalkeepers think that they've got to communicate all the time. That's the wrong thing to do, because what happens is, and I did this as a goalkeeper, professional goalkeeper, when I played, I just never stopped talking because that's what I was told. Or even though that I was talking all the game, there was not one manager or coach that said to me, "Ray, listen, you don't have to talk all the time." And what happens is, as a goalkeeper, if you talk all the time, what happens is your defenders stop listening to you, because they go out to Ray again, mouthing off, So you've got to with your teammates, you've got to let them. Sorry, with your teammates, when you talk, your teammates have got to go. Ray's just spoken. I need to do something. Okay, if that makes sense, because your teammates need to know is that when you say something, they need to act. Because if you just waffle on all the time, like most goalkeepers are wrongly told to do, your defenders will just switch off. Okay, so it's just a few important things that you can just to get, and especially if you're a young goalkeeper as well, or a parent of a goalkeeper helping your goalkeeping child, just keep it basic to start off with. Because again, being confident as a goalkeeper also starts with communication. And again, if a young, especially a young goalkeeper, even an old goalkeeper, if they're told to talk all the time, one, that's the wrong advice, and two, what do you speak about for 90 minutes? Okay, there's only so many times you can shout encouragements, etc. So whether you're a young goalkeeper or whether you're an old goalkeeper, keep your communication basic, because what happens, as I say, your teammates then will get to know, okay, when Ray speaks, I need to listen. So just some simple things like this. So for example, if your left back is called John, and the winger is getting away from John, and John can't see that the winger is getting, more and more space on them, you just shout, "John, left shoulder." Keep it simple. "John, left shoulder." And your left back then goes at left shoulder, looks at the left shoulder, and then obviously can go and deal with that winger trying to get away. Again, if you've got a right back, and your right back could be called Annabelle, for example, again, it's the same. Annabelle, right shoulder. Same again, so your defenders know when you say something like that, that you're helping them, and it wakes them up as well. Now also as well, so again, so just like think about, basic, just very basic commands, John, left shoulder, Annabelle, right shoulder for your central defenders. Again, Davey, check out your left shoulder, and as you get older, you'll keep it brief, keep the communication brief, but you'll be able to shout a few more instructions. But the point is just shout the instructions when needed. I'm going to say it again, shout the instructions when needed, because your defenders will listen. If you waffle on all the time, like I did as a pro keeper and a semi-pro keeper, I promise you your players will go, yeah, whatever, and they'll stop taking notice of you, which is bad for them, but it's actually worse for us, okay, as goalkeepers. Another thing that you need to do as well, whenever your teammates do something good, shout encouragement. So if someone has a good tackle, you can shout, Sharon, amazing tackle, well done. Philip, fantastic header, well done, brilliant. Or other communications like hold the line, push up, come back, offside referee. So again, you're shouting commands to your defenders, but also as well, you're shouting commands and instructions, but also shouting encouragement as well, because one, that keeps you on your toes, two, that helps your defenders or your teammates, but also as well, if you shout encouragement to your teammates, when you do something good, they'll shout encouragement back to yourself, or they should, okay, and that helps you build your self-esteem and self-confidence as well, okay. So, and also another reason why you should communicate is communicate with yourself, okay. Yeah, so as the game's going on, so again, so I'm going to pretend it's me. So as the game's going on, I'll be saying, okay, Ray, are you on the right, are you off your line enough? Have you got the right angle? Okay, so okay, this right winger looks a bit good. I'll keep my eye on the right winger. Okay, if they make a shot, I'm going to make a fantastic save. I can really come from the crosses. So again, just speak about all your strengths. If they shoot top corner, I know I'm going to make an amazing save. Because what a lot of goalkeepers will be thinking, oh, I hope the opponents don't attack and have a shot because I'm not ready. straight away you're putting yourself, that's called self-doubt, and that's called negative self-talk. So again, as well as communicating with your teammates, you need to give yourself positive self-talk as well. So don't be thinking, oh dear me, I hope you don't attack and shoot. That's the wrong message to send yourself, okay? You want to be saying, right, if they attack, I'm going to be ready, okay? God, if these I've looked at these, there's no way these attackers can beat me. I'm too good for these attackers. And if they shoot top corner, my strength's top corner, my strength's bottom corner as well. If they come over for the cross, I'm going to come for the cross and take everyone's head off. So be positive. So again, as I say, so expect them to attack, because they are going to attack, okay? So there's no point saying, oh, I hope they don't attack, because most goalkeepers do that. I hope they don't attack, I hope they don't shoot. They are going to attack, they are going to shoot. So you've got to change your self-talk, okay? And you've got to basically be saying, right, I hope, when they attack, I'm going to be ready. When they attack, okay, I'm going to be on me ready. When they attack, I'm going to be ready. Or another thing you can say as well, as you get older as a goalkeeper, you'll understand this. One of the most important things you don't do as a goalkeeper is stand on your line. So as a goalkeeper, you want to make sure as the play is going away from your goal, you need to be following the play off your line. So again, if the ball comes over the top, you're off your line, and hopefully you can get out there and clear the ball. So another thing you should be saying to yourself as well, okay, right, I should be 6 yards off my line now, okay, I should be 8 yards off my line. I'm now ready. If that ball gets put over my defender's head, I'm now ready to come off my line. That makes sense? So it's important to communicate. So when you communicate, you want to stress, you communicate, 1, to give instructions to your teammates. 2, you're also giving encouragement when your teammate does something good, because that helps them, and obviously hopefully when you do something good, obviously they'll shout encouragement to you, which builds your self-esteem. But also, more importantly as well, you should communicate with yourself. Give yourself negative self-talk, okay? Again, I'm going to repeat myself, okay? Because I promise you, most goalkeepers who are listening to this will go, right, yep. When a game's playing, I actually do catch myself saying, oh, I hope they don't attack, I hope they don't shoot. That's the wrong mindset as a goalkeeper, okay? Yeah, you've got to be saying, right, when they do attack, because they will going to attack, when they do attack, I'll be ready because I'm fantastic at this, I'm good at this, I'm going to be off my line. Can you see where it puts you in the positive mindset, ready to go? And the more you do that, and then you do make a save, okay, because statistically, you will make the save. Okay, once you've made that save, you go, right, I knew it, I was ready. They went top corner, I knew I was going to make the save top corner. Brilliant, what a great goalkeeper I am. Sounds big-headed, guys, okay, but what you're doing is you're just reiterating to yourself, you're telling your subconscious, obviously, that you were prepared for it, and then when it did come, you did do exactly what you said. That builds your self-confidence, your self-esteem. So talking to yourself throughout the game is super important. And this is where a lot of goalkeepers get this wrong. They shout to the defenders for 90 minutes, okay, and the defenders stop listening. You only speak to your defenders or teammates when needed. Again, instructions or giving them encouragement. The rest of the time, you should be speaking to yourself. Okay, yeah, and building your self-confidence and self-esteem and getting yourself ready rather than being, oh, I hope they don't shoot, okay, like, yeah, when they shoot, I'm going to be ready. Can you see where that's going to help you mentally? Okay, and the more you do it, I promise you, the more you do it, you'll subconsciously, you'll be consciously thinking and subconsciously thinking, and when that ball does get put over the top or an attacker shoots or goes bottom corner, top corner, boom, you're going to be ready. Okay, so communication is the massive part of it. Now I'm going to talk about standing up for yourself. So before you stand up for yourself, you've got to communicate, okay? Like you've just explained, you need to start communicating, because the more you communicate, shouting instructions, if someone says anything nasty to you or if you need to stand up for yourself, boom, you're ready because you're used to talking. So by standing up for yourself, start by talking and encouraging your teammates, if that makes sense. So for example, so again, this is where a lot of goalkeepers go wrong, even older goalkeepers, so it's not just the young goalkeepers. So what happens is when a goal goes in, you've got to remember most of your players, 99% of the parents, 100% of the parents, even your coach and managers, don't understand why that goal went in, unless you've blatantly let it through your legs from 200 yards. A lot of the players, the management, the parents on the line, if they've never played in goal in their life, I don't care what they say, okay, they don't understand goalkeeping, full stop. So you've got to remember that, you've got to understand that, you've got to understand that, your teammates, the parents, the coaches, if they've never played in goal before, they've no idea what they're talking about, okay? So when a goal goes in, because they're unsure why it went in, they go, it's the goalkeeper's fault. How many times have you heard parents say, you heard them, heard this so many times over the years, even like when I'm out with my family and you hear like other family members speaking about that their child played football or soccer at the weekend, and you went, we got beat 6-0, we would have won only for the goalkeeper. Yeah, really. But people believe that, the goalkeeper let 6 goals in, so we got beat. They don't realise, or they forget that the team never scored 6. That's the naivety of of parents and players and even coaches and managers towards goalkeeping. So what you've got to be doing, so the first thing you've got to remember is, again, and we don't do this in an arrogant way, as goalkeepers, we've got to realise, when we've played in goal for a season, 2 seasons, 3 seasons, 4 seasons, etc., we know more than our teammates, the parents and even the coaches about goalkeeping. So if a goal goes in and it's not your fault, and let's say, for example, I'll keep it brief, a cross comes over, and you see you see your left back John, the opponent player is drifting away from them and it's on a set piece or a corner or whatever, you shout, John, left shoulder, John, left shoulder, and the ball comes over and the attacker has a free header and scores. What happens is the opponents the team, when a goal, just to digress, what normally teammates do that don't understand goalkeeping, when a goal goes in, they automatically go, it's the goalkeeper's fault, so Ray, you should have had that. And what happens then is when one of your defenders or one of your teammates go, Ray, you should have had that, the other teammates will go, Ray, you should have had that, because they don't understand. The parents on the line or the supporters will go, Ray's not answered, because what a lot of goalkeepers do is when the blame's put on them, they put the head down. You can't do that, because as soon as someone shouts first, Ray, you should have had that. Yet sadly, even when the team says, hey, it's Ray's fault, if you put your head down as a goalkeeper and don't answer back, everyone will just presume it's your fault. Now, so what you've got to do as a goalkeeper, going back to the example I said before, if a cross comes over and you say to your left back, John, or even before the cross comes over, you've got to say it before the cross comes over, and you see the opponent drifting away, John, left shoulder, he's drifting away, and the ball comes over, it's a free header and they score. You've got to go up and go, John, I told you left shoulder. Now all of a sudden, people are going to take it off yourself and look at John, okay, yeah? So before anyone has an opportunity to blame you, now you only do this when it's not your fault, okay? If you let a ball in from 200 yards as a goalkeeper, you can't blame everyone else. Actually, some goalkeepers will, okay? I've got examples of that, some goalkeepers will, but sometimes as a goalkeeper, you've got to go, sorry, my fault, okay, my fault. So I'm not saying use this all the time. You do this obviously when it's not your fault, okay, yeah. And another example as well. Let's say, for example, so the example that I used there, was someone coming over, and it was a free header, yeah. So let's use another one, a one-on-one situation. Again, how many times has a goalkeeper been left with a one-on-one situation, then the attacker or the opponent has scored, then again everyone's saying, Ray, you should have got that. You know what I mean? Straight away as a goalkeeper, if it's a one-on-one situation, you've got to get up and go, where's my defenders? Because again, if you face a one-on-one situation, again, I've seen this when I go around to watch the J4K students in action, again, I've seen this so many times where it's one-on-one, where it's basically just the attacker and the goalkeeper. The attacker scores, and the team and the parents and sometimes the coaches blame the goalkeepers, and you think, again, they do that because it's out in naivety. So as a goalkeeper, once that goes in, you've got to shout up, because again, if you just put your head down, if your defenders go, Ray, you should have saved that, and you put your head down like most goalkeepers do, again, the players, the parents will go, Ray's not answered back there, it must have been his fault. So again, if it's a one-on situation and they do score, they immediately stand up and go, where's my defenders? You've left me on my own. John, Pamela, Sharon, whoever it was, David, why did you let the man go? So again, straight away, and again, it's not about passing the buck It's about making sure you're protecting your confidence. Now, again, I'm going to quickly digress now. It depends what team you play in, okay? So if you're in a team where everyone's encouraging each other, you don't have to say this, okay? So I'm going to contradict myself a bit here. So if you're in a team where everyone's encouraging, the parents have got a brain on the line, more importantly, the coaches and the coach and the management as well, they don't allow any negativity, which you shouldn't do, coaches. So if you're in a team where, as I say, where no one's putting blame on you, don't put the blame on even though it might be their fault, okay? Just give them encouragement, okay? No, I'd like John. No, sorry, bad luck, John. Or I'd like better luck next time, Pamela. And again, in a sneaky way, okay? And again, hopefully this doesn't come across wrong, okay? So let's say, for example, let's go back to a scenario where John let the opponent drift away. The cross came over, even though that you shouted John left shoulder. The cross came over. It was a free header, they scored. Obviously the last example, I said to you, hey, I told you to say to John, hey John, what were you doing? I told you, left shoulder. You do that in a team where the teammates are blaming you. Okay, yeah. So you've got to stand up for yourself there. But again, if you're in a team where the team is very encouraging, I don't advise you to be obviously putting the blame on them. If they're encouraging you and it's a positive atmosphere, don't make it a negative atmosphere, but you can still stand up for yourself in a positive way by not being negative. Okay, but if I'm helpful, let me explain why. So again, let's use this example where again, you can see it. The opponent team's coming down the line. You know they're going to cross the ball. You can see the opponent drifting away from John, and you say, John, left shoulder. John doesn't listen. The ball comes over, free header. It's a goal, like I've already said. So again, instead of jumping up and blaming John, okay, for obviously not listening to your advice, you stand up and go, oh, listen, that line's, bad luck, John, bad luck, give encouragement, bad luck, John. So you're giving encouragement, but again, the opponents, the management on the line, the parents on the line, okay, they're going to be like, oh, okay, Ray's got up and said, bad luck, John. Okay, so straight away they're looking at John, okay, but it's not in a negative way, okay? It's not, it's not in a negative way. You're not shouting, negativity. You're giving encouragement, but at the same time, you're protecting yourself, okay? Yeah, because again, people might say, well, Ray, that's a bit naughty, isn't it? Well, no, you've got to look after yourself, okay? Even though obviously, you're in a team, we know as goalkeepers, as I say, we are on our own a lot of the time. And the problem is, even if goals are going in and nothing's getting said, the management and other people might be thinking, oh, was that the goalkeeper's fault? But if they hear you say, oh, bad luck, John, they're going to go, oh, it was John's fault. Okay, come on, John. Again, if it's a team that's positive, they're going to be saying, oh, bad luck, John, okay. So straight away, if you stand up and say, hey, bad luck, John, better luck next time, again, you're being positive for your teammates, but again, you're letting everyone know, hey, it wasn't my fault. But again, the parents, the management on the line, etc., they're going to go, oh, Ray said it was obviously John. And then if it's a positive team, they'll go, oh, headline, better luck next time, John. And John's going to be like, because everyone's positive, okay, yeah, no problem, guys. And obviously the game goes on. So that makes sense, okay? I don't want to overcomplicate this. So again, sort of digressed a bit there, because these two types of obviously teams that, obviously goalkeepers play in. A team where it's toxic, where the teammates, the parents, the coaches, they're very fast to blame the goalkeeper. In that scenario, you've got to be faster than them. Okay, yeah, you could be, because I promise you, if you're letting goals in and it's not your fault, and your teammate or parents or the coach is shouting on the line, and you're putting your head down and not saying anything, they're going to keep doing that. And what's that going to do to your confidence? It's going to lower it and lower it and lower it. You can't allow that to happen. So where the team's blaming you, you've got to be in there first, okay, and say, hey, blame them, okay, before they blame you. Obviously, only in a scenario when it's obviously their fault, okay? Again, don't be doing it if you let a goal in from 200 yards through your legs. Again, sometimes you've got to hold your hands up. And as you get older as a goalkeeper, you'll understand what was your fault and what was not your fault. And as a parent of a goalkeeper, you'll get to understand that. And after training or after the match situation, if something was your fault, okay, you go, okay, yeah, that was my fault. I'll get on with it. I'll make sure I don't make the same mistake in the next game. And the more you play as a goalkeeper, I promise you, the more you play as a goalkeeper, you will know within a second if it was your fault or not your fault. And if it was your fault, okay, which statistically most goals won't be your fault, okay, you just hold your hands up and say, yep, okay, cool, move on. If it wasn't your fault, don't allow anyone to blame you, okay, because it will lower your confidence. So that's in a team that's negative towards a goalkeeper. Every time a goal goes in, they're blaming them. As I keep saying, you've got to blame them first, okay, to protect your confidence. And as a parent as well, I'll explain what you should be doing. I'll explain what you should be doing as a goalkeeper and a parent in a moment after the game situation. Obviously, when you are unfortunately getting the blame and it's not your fault. But also, again, if you're in a team that's positive, you don't want to be negative, but you can still shout a positive comment to your teammates, as I say, to keep it off you. And again, it sounds a bit selfish doing that, but you've got to do it. So if you're in a team that's really, really positive and a goal goes in, again, you're going to get people who say, even though they're positive, well, maybe that was the goalkeeper's fault. But again, if you're very quick to say, oh, bad luck, John, bad luck, better luck next time. Again, as I say, you're saying, hey, wasn't my fault, but then that protects your confidence as well as a goalkeeper. Hope that makes sense. So the last thing you got to do as well, and again, this takes time. So if you're a goalkeeper, so again, let's say you're playing in a team where you're getting the blame for goals that are going in that are not your fault. If you're a goalkeeper, you're an adult goalkeeper, you've got to really go and address the management and the coaches. You've got to stand up for yourself. You've got to sometimes be aggressive. Sometimes you've got to, I'm not a big swearer, but sometimes you've got to use those nasty words. I'm talking adults here, not children, by the way. Okay, yeah. You've got to be really aggressive back. To your teammates, especially when you know it's not your fault. And then the supporters on the line, you just ignore them. Okay, you just ignore the supporters. Don't even make eye contact with them, no matter what they shout. The supporters, what supporters are like. When you're having a good game, you're the best in the world. As soon as you make a mistake, you're the worst in the world. So there's no point even engaging with the supporters. But as I say, with your teammates, you've got to let them know, hey, bang, wasn't my fault. And in the changing rooms, whether it's at half time or at the end, you've got to say, hey, listen, guys, I want to stand. That first goal was not my fault. Okay, John, I told you to pick up that left winger. You never listened to me. He or she got a free header. If you'd have listened to me, it wouldn't have been a goal. You've got to be like that as an adult. Even if you're shy, I promise you the first one or two times might be a bit awkward, but the more you do it, the more you understand goalkeeping, the more you understand what's not and not what is and not your fault, especially when something's not your fault. You've got to go in. And again, sometimes you don't have to be nasty. Try not to be nasty and say, hey, coach, manager, and while you're sitting down with all the teammates, I got blamed for the first goal there. That was not my fault for the first goal. As I say, I told John, and he never listens, full stop. And if the managers and coaches have got anything about it, they'll go, okay, cool, they'll listen to you, and as I say, they'll put that right in training. If you have got a moronic manager and coach, as I say, and they are always like blaming you, it's time to find a new team, to be honest with you. Seriously, guys, if they can't support you as a goalkeeper, and if they don't know, obviously, what is the goalkeeper's fault or what is the defender's fault, etc., and they keep blaming you, I promise you, eventually, don't care how old you are, it's going to eventually knock your confidence. You need to find another team. If you're a parent of a goalkeeper, and again, it's a negative. I'm talking about being in a negative environment, and again, the teammates are constantly shouting, constantly blaming your goalkeeping child. Again, you've got to say, hey, coach, listen, can I just have a word, please? And again, explain that you've watched the 30-day challenge. Hopefully, you might have a goalkeeping coach, and I'm sure your goalkeeping coach would advise. So don't go in as a parent, go in and say, look, I've been talking to my goalkeeping coach, and I've been getting advice from Ray Newland from Just for Keepers, and this is what they've advised me to say. And again, be polite. To say, listen, being polite, as I say, but what's happening, as I say, my son or daughter is getting blamed for all the goals here, and it's affecting the confidence. Now look, if it's their fault, fine, we'll hold our hands up and we'll work on it in training, but listen, these goals there that are not his or her fault, and look, even though they're only young, they've been in goal for 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, they know more than the players. Now listen, this is what Ray Newland, this is not me saying this as a parent, this is what his coach said, or this is what Ray Newland said. He's been in goal for 2 or 3 years now, or she's been in goal for 2 or 3 years now. So they know more than any player or any parent on the line. And they know, they're honest, they know when they've made a mistake and not made a mistake. And they're telling me that they did not make that mistake for that goal, but they're getting blamed. look, can you do something about it? And again, thankfully, most managers and coaches are decent in this day and age. They'll go, yep, cool, not a problem, I'll work on that. And then they'll have a word with their team and say, hey, listen, don't be blaming the goalkeeper all the time. And then obviously then you can, as a parent, you're protecting your child, obviously, from wrongly getting blamed. And again, but if you're in an environment where the manager and coach doesn't listen to you, they're like, yeah, we know everything, we're not going to listen to you, we're not going to listen to this Ray Newland guy. Listen, it was your child's fault. Get them out that team. I promise you, get them out the team. You do not need to be, you don't need your child in an environment where a coach or manager has no idea about what they're talking about. So the easy option is to blame the goalkeepers. Thankfully, there's less and less coaches and managers like that in this day and age now. Thankfully, the majority of coaches and managers have got some idea, but also as well, thankfully as well, the decent people. But again, I've been doing this a long time now, and I speak to literally, honestly, hundreds of parents every single month. And obviously there's still it's only the minority, but there's still those idiotic coaches and managers out there. If your child or goalkeeping child is with one of those managers or coaches, just get them out. Seriously, your child's confidence and you as a goalkeeper's confidence is more important than playing for the team. Trust me, there's more teams looking for goalkeepers than goalkeepers looking for teams, okay? Yeah, just go and just get out of that toxic environment and then go and find a team or coach and manager that's going to be fair, not only with you, but the whole team as well, okay? Yes, because it's not about blaming one person, okay? It's about working as a team, and if there's a mistake made, which happens, it's about working as a team, being positive and putting it right. Most coaches thankfully understand that in this day and age. Sadly, the minority don't. Just get yourself away from that type of coach, or if you're a parent, please get your goalkeeper child away. Okay, so I'm going to finish off now. So again, to stand up for yourself as a goalkeeper, first thing you got to do is, like I said in the early stages of this video, is communicate. Okay, communicate with your defenders and your teammates, sorry. So you give them instructions, you give them encouragement, but also you communicate with yourself. You give yourself positive self-talk throughout the game. Okay, so rather than going, oh, I hope they don't shoot, you're going to be like, right, when they shoot, I'm going to be ready. You see where it puts you in a different totally mindset, and the more you do it, I promise you, it'll just happen automatically. Second thing you got to do is stand up for yourself. Okay, so if your teammates shout negative things towards yourself, if they're blaming you for a goal, okay, yeah, and it's not your fault as a goalkeeper, you've got to be in there first, okay, yeah, because I promise you, if you don't say something, they will. And again, even if a situation where your teammates say something first to you and it's not your fault, don't put your head up. Don't put your head down, sorry. You got to go, what? Are you joking? John, I told you left shoulder. You never listened. It was your fault. If you would have listened to me, they wouldn't have had a free header. You've got to stand up for yourself. Now, I know when you're younger, it might be a bit difficult to do that, but as you get older, I promise you, it gets easier and easier and easier. Also as well, if you're in a positive environment, okay, and your teammates don't blame you even when a goal goes in, if your teammate makes a mistake, again, don't be negative. Again, as I say, like I said before, be positive and say, hey, bad luck, John, or bad luck, Sheila, better luck next time. Again, you're taking the deflection off yourself, because again, unfortunately, because most people don't understand goalkeeping, even managers and coaches, when a goal goes in, even in a positive team, they're going to go, that's the goalkeeper's fault. Okay, yeah. But if you're like, hey, bad luck, John, they're going to go, okay, it was John's fault. I promise you they will, okay, yeah. And again, that just protects your confidence. And again, also remember as well, if you're in a team that's toxic, as a goalkeeper, go and see your coach and manager and say, hey, listen, look, I'll hold my hand up. I know when it's my fault as a goal. I don't need my opponent to tell me. I'll hold my hands up, okay, yeah. So coach, listen, you need to do something about this, okay, yeah, because I'm not having it, okay, yeah. They need to know that was their mistake. Again, try and always be as polite as you can when you go in. Try and be polite with your teammate. Sometimes you've got to get nasty, okay? Sometimes you've got to get nasty as an adult. Don't do it as a child. As an adult, you've got to really stand up for yourself, because if you don't, I promise you, it will just knock your confidence more and more and more. As a parent, if your child is in a toxic team where the team's blaming them for everything, again, be polite. Go and see the coach or the manager. Again, take it off yourself as a parent and say, hey, coach, listen, my goalkeeping coach or Ray Newland has advised me to come and have a word with you. Listen, this is what we're not happy about. Look, even though my son or daughter is only 8-9 years of age, look, they've played in goal now for 2 or 3 seasons. They actually know when it's not their fault. Okay, when a goal is or their fault, just say, so look, all I'm asking you as a coach and a manager, listen, have a word with the team. They can't be blaming my son or daughter for every goal that goes in. Let them know that you're getting advice from people that understand goalkeeping. Again, as I said, the majority of coaches and managers now are decent people. They'll go, okay, cool, listen. They probably won't even realise themselves. No problem, we'll get that sorted. And unfortunately, if you are in the minority of coaches and managers that don't listen, please do your child a favour. Get them out the team. Go and find another team. Okay, I promise you, there's more teams looking for goalkeepers than goalkeepers looking for clubs. Okay, so this is your homework for this week, okay? And again, it all goes back to visualization, okay? So do you understand this up to now? Hopefully you're getting this 30-day challenge. I keep coming back to visualization, so hopefully you understand one of the most important things, or the most important thing about building your confidence is visualization. You start up here in your mind, okay? So as a goalkeeper, what I want you to do now is just visualize different scenarios where you've got to communicate to your defenders. So visualize your defender, again, your left back or your right back or your centre back. Visualize your defenders, you know, the opponents drifting away from, you know, whether it's drifting away to the left or drifting away to the right, and keep your communication basic, okay? You've got to say, hey, John, left shoulder. Hey, Pam, right shoulder. You know, just keep it basic. So visualize yourself shouting basic, loud instructions, okay? Super important. Only shout to your defenders instructions or encouragement. You don't have to waffle on all the time. So visualize shouting to your defenders instructions. Also visualize shouting to your defenders encouragement. Fantastic tackle, great header, well done Dave, well done Sean. Visualize talking as well. Also visualize, you know, like your teammate. Again, that no sounds crazy. Visualize your teammates blaming you for the goal, but before they even have a chance, say, hey John, that was your fault, or John, I did tell you. So everything that I've done in this video, just go over in your mind's eye. Just visualize, you know, you're saying it, because I promise you what happens is this is just practice, okay? So when you go into training or a game situation, you're not like caught like a rabbit in car headlights. And this is what visualization does. It prepares you, it warms you up for when something actually happens in real life. Because what actually happens in real life as a goalkeeper, when something happens and we get the blame for something, if we've not practiced it in our mind's eye, what happens is we don't know what to say, we freeze. And then we think, oh, what happened there? And then we put our head down. Then the next time it happens, we put our head down again. Okay, so what you've got to do, everything goes back to visualization. You've got to visualize yourself standing up for yourself. Visualize yourself answering back. So if someone is blaming you, you visualize blaming them first. If someone is positive, okay, like we said, if you're in a positive team and they make a mistake, again, visualize yourself giving them a positive, you know, hey, bad luck, John. Bad luck, Pamela. Visualize yourself doing it first, because I promise you what will happen is when you're visualizing your mind's eye, you're preparing yourself. So when it happens in a game situation, you're ready for it, because you go, no, I'm not having that, boom, and you're back. And then what happens then? That gets you into a habit of knowing what to say and answering back. I promise you what happens is, this part of the visualization in terms of communication, you won't have to do it all the time. You might have to do it for the first, maybe say 5, 6, 7, maybe let's say 2 months. What happens then is then you get into a habit in a game situation. You know, so if you visualize first, communicating and obviously, you know, making sure that you don't put your head down, etc. What happens then is that will start a chain reaction. So every time you play or train, you'll then know what to say, and the more you say it, because what happens is there's only so many things you can say in a game, and what happens then is, but you've got to visualize it first. You've got to visualize, right, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to say this, and then what happens then is you'll do it in a game and training, then the next week you do it in a game and training, then the next week you do it in a game and training, and you keep going till eventually it becomes a habit. And then once it becomes a habit, subconsciously you'll do it, but it all starts with visualizing first. Hope that makes sense. Again, remember, any questions, please put below. And if you're a goalkeeper or a parent of a goalkeeper or a goalkeeping coach, again, please comment below. What do you do as a goalkeeper, or what do you advise your goalkeeping child or goalkeeping students? How should they stand up for themselves as a goalkeeper and protect their self-confidence? So I hope that helps, and I'll see you in week 4 of the J4K 30-day challenge. All the very best.